One of the things that I saw the other day on social media, which I wanted to ask you about, was this. I've got a picture of it here. It was someone online that posted this photo, and they said, well, this graph, and they said, we need to figure out what's going on here. This is the graph. I'll put it on screen for anybody that's watching, but also it will be linked in the comment section below. It essentially shows that over the last, let's say, 20 years, there's been a really significant rise in cancer amongst women. But when we look at cancer amongst men, it's pretty flat. And this is cancer incidence by age and gender up to 49 years old. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts on why this is happening.
Yeah. A few thoughts come to mind. Whenever I see these kinds of reports, I always make sure I look firstly at what are they actually measuring? So just to set the stage, this is the number of women who are being diagnosed with cancer. So not dying from cancer, but it's going up. So one simple explanation, although perhaps the most disappointing, could be that more women are going in for testing younger. And so we're just seeing kind of an artifact of more women are just going in sooner, and they're detecting a problem that they wouldn't have otherwise detected, for 10 or 20 years, which is a good thing. You want to detect cancer as soon as possible. So that's the boring answer, that it could be a reflection of just more women going in for ultrasounds or MRIs or mammary scans, whereas men don't ever get tested for anything, which is why we die more from everything, possibly. But to give a more exciting answer, this is very, very likely almost entirely driven by breast cancer. Breast cancer is the main cancer for women by far. And so if I had to guess, I bet almost all of this increase in cancer incidence is because of breast cancer. Why might that be going up? I would suggest there's probably a couple instances. One, although people might not appreciate this, is that one of the best ways for a woman to reduce her risk of breast cancer is actually having babies. It's very well known. Very well documented that if a woman has babies and breastfeeds, her risk of breast cancer goes down. So yeah, in fact, it's very meaningful. I actually don't know the reasons for it. It could be the changes in estrogens during lactation phase.
I've just actually done a quick search here I put a picture of that graph into AI and asked it the same question, and it said pretty much what you said. It said there's a rising breast cancer incidence according to Cancer Research UK. The other one that it came up with is obesity trends.
Oh, yeah. I promised I was going to talk about that.
Oh,
I wouldn't leave that. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting there.
No problem.
And then the other one was delayed childbearing.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is what you were saying.
Yeah, so as childbirth rates are going down, it does increase the risk of breast cancer. Now, as I'm a cell biologist, right, I like to understand a direct mechanism. And so as much as I invoke the perhaps lower rates of childbirth among women, I don't know the mechanisms, so I'm sort of loath to describe it. The mechanisms I'm very familiar with are the metabolic, which is if you take breast tissue that is tumor tissue and compare it to, like if you take a breast tumor and compare it to the normal tissue right next to it, like that it would have shared its origins with, the cancer from the breast will have 7 times more insulin receptors than the normal breast tissue. So the idea of this tracking quite nicely with obesity rates going up over the past 20 years, I wouldn't say that it's the obesity per se, but I would say it's the entire metabolic milieu, which is the insulin resistance, that as much as the high insulin is promoting fat cells getting bigger, that high insulin is also accelerating the growth of the tumor cells. Because again, one of the main mutations in breast cancer is a 7-fold